Hi people, welcome to Kat's Intuition. I am Krystal Kat and today I am doing the Coffee House Deck hashtag. This was created by Amidst the Gray. So shout out to her, and I will of course tag her videos down below. I'm going to jump right into it because we have quite a few questions or prompts. The first one is the espresso shot, a deck that is strong, punchy, and gets straight to the point. Now, I am an overthinker. Like, it's ridiculous. So, some of these I was like, but this one could fit for that, and this one could fit for that one. And I was like, no, just stop. Mm-mm. So for this one, I picked my medieval cat. Because this deck may be a cat deck, and at first glance, you may think, oh, it's not going to be a serious deck because it is, well, cats, glare, but as you would a different deck. But this deck it's amazing. It is strong. It is punchy. It's going to tell you what's what. It's not going to, oh my gosh, at the glare. It's not going to tiptoe around your feelings, and I really like that. I love knowing that whenever I come to this deck, it's going to just lay it all out. So that is my espresso shot, a deck that's strong, punchy, and gets to the point. My medieval cat. Okay, so the next prompt is the drip, a deck that's simple, accessible, and gets the job done. And I feel like this one really fits that prompt. This is the Darkwood Tarot. It is one of my favorites. It's not overcomplicated. And when I put this one for the prompt that says something like simple, it's not minimalistic. It's not by any means a minimalistic deck, but it's not over the top either, you know? So that's why I felt okay putting it for something that would call it simple. And it is accessible. It's easy to obtain anywhere that they sell tarot cards. I would assume you could get this. I really like it. It most definitely gets the job done. This has been my workhorse deck for a while. Not until True Black kind of bumped it down. Shh, don't say that too loud. I don't want to hurt its feelings. But seriously though, this deck has been the one that I've been doing client readings with for a while now, and in-person readings. So that is something that I like, when a deck is not too over the top or too, like too foreboding or too dark, and I mean art-wise, to where I would feel okay pulling this deck out and reading for the majority of people that come to see me face to face. I don't feel like this is a scary deck or an offensive one, or anything like that. So I feel like this is a great go-to deck that definitely gets the job done. And that would be the Drip, the Darkwood. All right, so next we have the Pour Over, and that is a deck you need to take your time with, but totally worth the effort. And for that, I chose the Hush Tarot. This was a recent birthday gift from a sweet friend of mine, Jessica. Shout out to you if you're watching. Thank you. This deck is still in order. One thing I have to say about this deck, oh my God, you know how, well, I don't know if you do, but I kind of like sniff. I sniff my new decks just like I would like a new book. This is not one that you want to do that with. I don't know what is up with this deck, but it is so strong smelling. This is the only one like it. Now, the Medieval Tarot, it actually smells sweet. This one is overpowering. It has actually induced a headache a couple times. It is still in order because I haven't done like a flip through or walk through with it yet, and I really want to do that. But this deck smells really, really strong. Oh yeah, there's the backs. I feel like I need to just set it out of its box and let it air out. It's strange. Out of all my decks, I do not have any that are this strong, but I really do. If you see there, there's skulls right there. I love everything about this deck. And the reason why I put it for this prompt, a deck you have to take your time with, but totally worth it, because I feel like, this could have even gone with an acquired taste. I think there's a prompt that's like that, an acquired taste, and that is what I consider this deck. It's an acquired taste. I feel like people either like this deck or they don't at all. It can be seen as quite dark. I personally really like this deck, and I'm so grateful to have received it and have it now in my practice. Is that focusing? There we go. Sorry if that was not focused. So yeah, I can't wait to actually start working with it. I want to shuffle it so bad. I hold it in my hands, but I don't have to put it back in order. And I actually thought by now I would have already gotten through a walkthrough or flip through of it. But yeah, that will definitely be coming soon, so I can play with this deck. But so like I was saying, a lot of people say that the image depicted for the card meaning is like a big stretch for them. And I can see that, because this definitely... Okay, can we talk about this card? Who does that look like to you? If you've watched Friends, doesn't that look like a character from Friends? Phoebe. Like, look at this one for the devil. So, as I was saying, as at least I think I was saying, it's early, still sipping on my coffee, like, ugh. Look at the sun and moon. I love it. It does seem as though some of these images, I think it is. I think it was pre-existing art, and that they zoomed in on certain parts of the art. So I think that can put a lot of people off if you are not into that. If you do not like pre-existing art put on deck card meanings. So that is why I would say that maybe this fits this prompt of a deck that you need to take your time with, because definitely this, could be deserving of a deck study where you go card by card and you really, see if you can bond with it. I love it already. I love the images, even the ones that I'm like, okay, well, that's stretching. Like, but yeah, and I'm going to put it away before I get a headache. After this video, I am definitely going to let it air out. It's so strange. Do any of you that have this deck have this problem with it being so overpowering in the scent? Let me know. All right, so the next prompt is the Cafe Latte, a deck that's well received and highly palatable. I chose the Tarot of Oneness for this because I feel like this is one of those decks that is definitely a feel-good. I mean, look how beautiful. Even the presentation of this deck is amazing. Okay. Oh, and it comes with extra... Oh my gosh. I feel like I'm so fumbling and still all... my hands are all swollen. I swell up in the morning after I wake up. I'm still... Should have woke up a little bit more before this video. So those are the extra cards. You do get an extra lover's card to choose from. The reason I chose it for this one, a deck that's well received and highly palatable, is because I feel like this is one of those worry-free decks, kind of like Darkwood, but even more so, because the Darkwood, it has like the fantastical trees and some... It's coming across yellow in the video, but it's really more orange, like a light orange. Interesting. I don't know why my lights are doing that with this deck. Here are the really pretty backs. I love it. It may seem like the camera is blurry, but it's not. That's actually the effect on the backing. It's kind of, yeah, like a light. So I feel like this deck is one that, Is that one upside down? I don't read reversal, so that's odd. I feel like this deck would be perfect to read for clients. And I know I keep bringing that up. It's because I read for clients. But even for yourself, if you are someone who do not appreciate or do not really like dark art decks, why are some of these upside down? It's kind of weirding me out, man. I don't read reversals, so none of these should be reversed. Okay, so I can't even get through my thought. This, I mean, look, the colors are nice. Even a card like, the devil, it's not a dark deck. I wish I could think of another word right now other than dark. It's not overly imposing. Like, for instance, say like the Black Tarot, right? Or even the Hush Tarot. There's images in there that can be considered gruesome and over the top for some people with representing death. This deck, I think, is all love and light. There's no death represented here. There's no gory scenes. There's nothing that I feel like you would have to censor out, so a great deck, I feel, that would be well received and highly palatable, most definitely. Like, look at the Nine of Swords, our nightmare card, and some decks can get pretty intense, right, with our Nine of Swords, but look, I mean, it's soft to me, and in a good way, not a bad way. It just feels like, look at that. I mean, it's so sweet. So, so, so sweet. So if you only read for yourselves or family and friends and you just wanted a nice, mellow, sweet deck that isn't going to like bark at you, it's not going to yell at you, I feel like this is perfect for that. And I probably over-explained because that seems to be my thing. Sorry. I over-explain, I over-talk, I complicate. Ugh. Love that Three of Swords. So that is the Tarot of Oneness. Okay, now the next two prompts. It's definitely one of those prompts that I overthought, as I mentioned earlier. I went back and forth with the Cappuccino and the Mocha. The Cappuccino is a deck that's classic, sophisticated, and maybe a bit fussy. And the reason is that ending point or ending part, a bit fussy. And I will, of course, over-explain myself because, yeah. So the Mocha is a deck that's rich, indulgent, and a bit extra. I feel like I should show these two prompts together almost because the True Black is just my ultimate deck. It's gorgeous. It's beautiful. Black is my color. Like, oh, I'm in love. This was a birthday gift. If you want to see me go through the 10 days of Krystal, where my mother, she's amazing, gifted me a deck or two or three on each day leading up to the 10th of May, which is my birthday. This was my grand finale deck that she gave me on the 10th. So it was, it's just amazing. So anyways, so this deck I see as so sophisticated, so rich, so indulgent, so extra. I feel like I could blend it into the two, but I didn't want to do that. I did the 21 questions. I'm just going to pull them apart a little bit. I did the 21 questions and I did multiple decks per prompt, and I really didn't want to do that for this one. I wanted to try and keep it to one deck per prompt. But look at the backs. Oh my God. And it's not just black. It's like a shiny, shimmery, almost a very, very slight shimmery. I wish I could. But if you have that deck, if you have this deck, you know. It's this gorgeous, shimmery, I just love it. So the only reason that I would say that I chose this one over putting it for the Mocha, which is a deck that's rich, indulgent, and a bit extra, is because the deck that I picked for that one can't go for this one because it's not fussy at all. Now, not that this deck is fussy, but I actually kind of contradict. This deck is printed on amazing cardstock. It's thick as hell, which I'm kind of a cardstock snob. I want a thick deck. I want to feel like I have something substantial in my hand. This deck is printed on scratch resistant, water resistant, and one more. I forget what the third thing with this cardstock was, but so the cardstock is like phenomenal, okay? But so that's why I say I feel like I'm contradicting myself to put this on a prompt that's calling it a bit fussy. But the reason I chose this one for this instead of the other one is because like if you have lotion on your hands, which I hate lotion, but if you put lotion on your hands, you're definitely going to see like fingerprints. You can hear my daughter laughing. She's playing with a cat. They play together. They play tag. They even play hide and seek. Like it is the cutest thing. So that is the only reason that this one is under the category for being a bit fussy, just because of the fingerprint thing. Other than that, this deck is pure perfection, and I am absolutely in love with it. Like, my number one deck will always be Tarot of the Cat People, because if you have seen any of my videos where I talk about it, it was my first deck ever. Back when I was 14 years old. I've been reading tarot for quite a while. Just now recently building my online presence, which is why I was getting into new decks, and so that will always be my number one deck. But if we just kind of like say, okay, but that goes without saying, of course it's your number one deck, the runner-up is this one. This deck is just, oh my god, I just can't say enough. I love to just hold it in my hands. I love to come in here even if I don't have a question. I just want to be with it. Like, I know I can't be the only one in that. I want to come in here and just shuffle the deck. It's just, oh my god, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. I feel like maybe it's being washed out by the light, but look, it's beautiful and gorgeous. So that is the one that I picked for the Cappuccino, a deck that's classic, sophisticated, maybe a bit fussy. Okay, so the deck that was part of that whole overthinking thing for the Mocha, a deck that's rich, indulgent, and a bit extra, I chose the Ocean Tarot. So again, these are the two prompts that could have gone either way. But this one's not fussy, like at all. So it didn't feel right putting it for the other one. Oh my god, I am in love with this one too. Okay, so story time, because of course, right? This deck was actually the one that had just became my new workhorse. It was kind of bumping the dark wood off its working throne, and love the artist. Oh my gosh, Taylor Bren, I think. Yes, Taylor Bren is the artist's name, and I would get every one of her decks if I could. They are so pretty. Love her artwork, love the detail. She does this by hand. It's just, I appreciate her art. But anyways, so this one is rich and indulgent and a little bit extra, I would say, because of the manner of her artwork. Look at all of the details in the card. I draw myself, so I don't know if that maybe has me appreciating her art a little bit more, because I know how long it takes and the time it can take one to put into an image, a drawing. I mean, just look at all of that she does by hand. It's just, it's amazing to me. I appreciate it. I have a high appreciation for this deck. And it's not fussy at all, right? Like, fingerprints aren't going to be an issue. That glare, I am so sorry. That fingerprints aren't an issue on this, and it's amazing cardstock. I love it. It is not as thick as the True Black, not at all. Like, but it's good though. It's not flimsy. But it has the beautiful gilded edges that I absolutely love. It's not, I've heard people talk about gilding that is sharp or raised. Thank God I don't have a deck like that, so I don't have to worry about it. It's smooth. It's good. It's good. So that's why I say it's rich and indulgent, just because it feels extra to me. It just feels, indulgent. It's like, we're not going to just do edges. No. We're going to gild those edges and make it just feel that much more luxurious and that much more extra. And I love it. This deck, I feel, has a sense of humor, like there with the Hanged Man, and I appreciate that so much. Look at the Hierophant. I love it. Ooh, and the moon. That is one of my favorite moons. I definitely want to do a video where I just pull out all of my favorite moon cards from all my decks, because I should do that on all my favorite cards. That may be coming soon. A little penguin. Those are such ugly fish to me. Sorry, but they are. Okay, so yes, so this is the Ocean Tarot for my mocha. All right, so the next one is the Cortado, a deck that's balanced and objective. So I feel that my Cat People deck goes with this prompt. Amazing. So, again, you can see the edges are, they're no longer white. They're supposed to be white. But yeah, you can see this deck has been well loved. I don't know if it's there. Now it's focusing. It's, yeah, not white anymore, but I've had it since I was 14, along with this same bandana it's been wrapped in. The tassel fell apart and I tied it together all crazy. It's just, yeah. Anyways, so this is a deck that's balanced and objective. And yes, come on, focus. There you go. There are the beautiful backs. Now, I've heard people say that this deck is weird. I think that's weird. I don't find this deck to be weird at all, but of course I don't see it in new, fresh eyes. I didn't think it was weird back then. This is my all-time favorite death card. Yeah, just, look, and the moon. I love this. This is my heart. This is my soul deck. This is, when I see it, I feel, it's that feeling of being home, right? It just feels like, hey, like it I don't even know how to articulate it. It's just amazing how this deck makes me feel. I can feel all of my energy over the years in this. It feels good. It feels safe, if that can be said for a deck. But it's definitely balanced and objective. It's got, because I don't read reversals, so I feel like any deck has that certain quality of balance to it, if we're talking in those terms. Like, you have your bad cards and your good cards, right? And I feel like I don't personally need to read reversals because of that. But we all have our different reading styles, right? And that's a beautiful thing, how we bring in all these differences to tarot. It's our tool. It's an outward extension of our intuition and how we see things, right? How we interpret things. And this deck, it's just so, I feel like it's level-headed. It isn't extreme. It isn't trying to just rush to the point. It isn't trying to just be like, oh my God, shut up, I already told you this. Like the medieval cat tarot, I feel like it's an impatient deck. It just wants to here's your answer now, leave me alone. Put me back in my box. Leave me alone. Not this one. This one is like, hey, yeah, come sit down. We're not going to bullshit. We're going to get to the point, but, let's enjoy each other's company as we do so. And I love that. I am a cat person. So that was one of the things back in the day that did draw me to this deck. I thought it was very interesting how they incorporated decks. Cats. I love how this is a whole made up people. She goes in depth in I have the big book. I don't know if the second edition, I don't think the second print, this is the first edition. I don't know if the second edition comes with the big book, but or maybe it goes through it in the little book. I don't know. But it goes in depth about how she created each suit is a different like tribe of people. And even the majors are different. And they all have their own like government. They all have their own world almost. It's really cool. I love how she did that. This was also art that she did by hand. She stippled all those. Look at the background. She did that by hand. This is not digitally done. This is not. She did this by hand, and I really appreciate that. I think it's just beautiful. So that is my balanced and objective deck. I actually tried wrapping this deck in a homemade bag that I made for it. I thought it was here. I moved it. And it did not feel right. Like this one, I crochet these bags. And I had put this deck in a blue one because it matched the box. And that just did not last. I couldn't. It didn't feel right. So she is back in her original wrapping. Okay, so next we have the Compana, a deck that puts you in your place with a hint of sweetness. For this one, I have chosen the Tarot of the Divine. I love this box. I really do. This box is also in the Phantom Wise Tarot. I have that one, and I just love them. Love the linen on these decks. It's amazing. So, the Tarot of the Divine, if you do not know, here are the backs. Love it. Love the blue. This is like a story. Well, not like a story. It is. It's a story. I'm sorry. Fairy tale type deck where each card tells a different fairy tale story. This comes with, no, I'm sorry, it doesn't come with. You can get a big book where it dedicates one page per card. And it tells you the story. You do not need that book in order to read with this deck. This can be a completely standalone deck. But if you're interested, I love books and all that. So if you're interested, you can pick that book up as well. Trying to read it from my bookshelf from here. I think it's called Beneath the Moon. Yeah, I think it's called Beneath the Moon. And you can get that if you would like to, like King of Cups. You're like, what's the story that goes with that? What is it? And then you go to the book and it tells you. So this deck, it's not a deck so much. Okay, so the prompt says a deck that puts you in your place, but with a hint of sweetness. Now, I kind of struggled with this one just because, I don't know. Those two kind of don't go. I was thinking, well, the medieval cat puts you in a place, but it isn't very sweet. So I think all of my decks are going to be ready to tell you what's what, right? It's not like any of my decks are inaccurate, but anyway, again, that's my overthinking. I'm not going to get into all that. I feel like I'm rambling and stumbling over my words pretty bad. I hope it's not just so awful that when I go to edit this video, I can't bring myself to post it. I love death. But yeah, this is a sweet deck. As you see, even the scary type cards, Nine of Wands here, and Death, and, the cards that may be scary to some people, especially those who are receiving a reading, not giving the reading, if they don't know the meanings, they're just clearly looking at the images, and sometimes certain decks can be scary for certain people, right? I think we can agree on that, yeah? Like the devil, I mean, it's a snake. So unless you have a fear of snakes, this isn't necessarily a scary card, right? So I feel like it can really deliver a message with a sweet side, with some sweetness, because the colors are beautiful. Look, I love that card. So pretty. The colors are beautiful. It has that storybook type feel. Love that stag there. Such a pretty drawing. And so yeah, that's why I chose this deck for this prompt, because it is definitely a sweeter deck. Not one to not be taken seriously, though. No, just a sweeter styled, art styled deck. Yes. Words are so hard for me this morning. Blah. So there it is. Tarot of the Divine. The next prompt is the Chai Latte, a deck that's warm, cozy, and nurturing. For this one, I have chosen the Herb Crafter's Tarot. I absolutely love this deck for so many different readings. So many different reasons. Not readings. Oh my gosh. Words, man. They're stupid today. So, they give you a great book with this deck. It goes over the meanings. It gives you some crafting ways that you can use the herb shown on the card. And yes, so this is still in order because I put it back in order because I want to do a walkthrough with it, because I feel like this deck definitely deserves its own walkthrough, and of course, inevitably, a story time for me, because I can't just, can't just show you the cards. I got to tell you my life story along with it, right? But anyways, so here is the Herb Crafter's Tarot. I love the feel that this deck gives me. It definitely hits that warm, cozy, nurturing, definitely the nurturing part for me. This deck reminds me of my Nina. Every time I guess I should say, I'm Hispanic, so I feel like that culture is very, very nurturing in a sense with like food. And this deck, I guess, because it does depict some food and some drinks and, the whole herb thing, it really makes me think of my heritage, my family. Like my mom would tell me stories about my great-grandmother and even my grandmother, how they would use certain herbs and create their own home remedies for when she was little, if she had a stomach ache or different issues, headaches and things. And how they would create their own home remedies. And I absolutely love that. And I love that we have herbs at our disposal to be able to do that. I feel like they were put here for that. They are Earth's natural remedies. Okay, so my daughter came in. I kind of lost my train of thought. Herbs, natural remedies put here for us to use. And so this deck just takes me back in the day when we would go visit my Nina, and she would immediately sit me down and just start cooking, like boom, on the spot. She was like, "Are you hungry?" And I'd be like, "No, it's okay," because I didn't want to make her like cook for me every time I showed up. But no, that was like her love language, right? Like that's how she showed me that she cared for me. And she would cook me whatever on the spot. She would, such a beautiful, I love this. She would break out her lemons and right there make me by hand, not like in a juicer or anything. She would make me the most delicious lemonade, to where I say I don't even like lemonade, and I think it's because it doesn't taste like hers. Like, you cannot go out and get you lemonade from a restaurant or something that's going to taste like my Nina's lemonade. It's just not going to happen. So something as simple as lemonade was made into, this special thing because, anyways. So that's just a little snippet into why I really love this deck. And some of the courts have been renamed, so even that sticks to, let me see if I can get to them. They are Spanish titles. Did I pass them and not realize I may have? No, see, like the hijas of water. So they have like hija of water instead of the page. Adelita of air. Adelitas for the warriors. Madres for the queens. And curandera for the what would normally be the kings. So yeah, I just love that. See, it's got like the little, there's no people other than like this, from you're seeing their arms and hands in the deck. See, like here. See how beautiful with the chiles and everything in the kitchen. And it just, in the desert, I miss the mountains so much. Yeah, I miss it. I definitely miss being able to walk outside and you're just surrounded by mountains. And then when the winter comes, you get that little bit of collection of snow up top on the mountain peaks. And see the kitchen. It just, it just makes me think of family. So definitely warm, nurturing. Warm and nurturing. Yep. And that's my inevitable story time, because I'm going to strive to do a video where all I do is say, here's this deck, look at it, move on. Okay, so the next one. I knew there was one that said something about an acquired taste. Okay, so the matcha latte is a deck that's an acquired taste or a bit unconventional. So see here, the Hush Tarot could totally fit, but because I'm trying not to do 2 decks per prompt, I chose for this one, which rightfully can go in this spot, is the Black Tarot. Most definitely not to be confused with the amazing, luxurious True Black. So this is the Black Tarot. I absolutely love this one too, though. We have the gilded edges. Now this one doesn't have any shimmer. Come on, focus. It doesn't have any shimmer like the True Black edges do. It feels completely different, but this is still a really, really nice cardstock. I appreciate this deck. I don't know why I compared the two. It shouldn't. It's a very unfair. I could do a video on an unfair comparison between the two because it is totally unfair. But anyways, I like the backs. Love that watery look. I feel like, just like with the Hush Tarot, this is definitely an acquired taste. I feel like you either like this deck or you don't. I love that Ten of Swords. You either like this deck or you don't. It has some dark art on it. Not that any of the images are gory, and by dark, I mean the art images, but this deck itself is very dark. Like, even though the images are white, they don't stand out a lot. So it's dark in both ways. It's dark in imagery and it's dark lighting wise, if that makes sense. Lighting wise. Anyways, you get me. Just know what I mean, okay? Oh, look at this. 9 of Swords. I love this 9 of Swords. So again, I feel like you either like this deck or you do not like this deck. You want to read with it or you don't. I don't feel like you can land halfways with this one, or in between with this one. This is pretty, they're very imposing images. Look at that, the knight. I love the horse, but it's still, it's an imposing image, I feel. I mean, look at that 5 of Swords. Yeesh. So, if you're like me and you like the darker side of things and this doesn't weird you out or make you feel any kind of way, then this is great for you. It'll fill that need for a dark deck, for a moody deck. There we go. It can definitely be moody. It's if you're in a moody type mood. There's a meme on that was around for a while. I can't remember it. But anyways, yeah. This is the Black Tarot. An acquired taste, or a bit unconventional. And I think we can agree that this deck fills both of those categories, unconventional and an acquired taste. This is definitely not a deck that I would read for clients with, person to person. Okay, the next prompt is the Hot Chocolate, a deck that speaks to a younger version of yourself. Okay, so for this, I'm not going to bring them all out, but I would say, because I have Hocus Pocus, and I have the Nightmare Before Christmas, and there's one other I can't remember right now. Anyways, I'm not going to bring them all out, because that would just be too many. But I wanted to say that any of my fandom decks, I feel, other than of course my cat people, because obviously that's going to speak to the younger tarot reader that I was, but any fandom decks, I feel definitely talk to the younger version of myself, because Disney movies was such a thing. My mother made sure that we had every single movie that came out. We had a huge collection, and that tradition has followed through with me. I make sure that I get my kiddos the Disney movies they like, and this one is great. In particular, the Villains is great, because I don't know if you've seen recent videos of mine, the 21 questions, I hit on both these decks. Now, if you like Nightmare Before Christmas and you get the Nightmare Before Christmas deck, that's all you're going to get, is a deck based on Nightmare Before Christmas. Same as like Hocus Pocus, same as Alice in Wonderland. But this one, the Villains, is particularly nice because you don't just get one villain or one movie. You get many different movies. Here's Zootopia, and we just saw The Jungle Book and Aurora, Sleeping Beauty. Here's my personal favorite, The Little Mermaid. Loved this one. I watched it on repeat. I drove my mom crazy. Here's 101 Dalmatians, Rescuers Down Under, Meet the Robinsons. So, again, with Maleficent and Our Sleeping Beauty. So, that's what I like about this deck. This is Baymax. And again with the Jungle Book. So anyways, it just repeats. See, here we have Hercules. There's a whole bunch a whole bunch of movies that are represented in this deck alone, and that is one thing that I really love. Even the newer ones, even Tangled with Rapunzel here. That's why I like it. And I love Yzma. Oh my god, I quote that movie so much. See, I forgot that they had the newer movies. So there's Moana with Tamatoa. So that's cool. I forgot it was that recent. I thought it came out before those did. But anyways, I love it for that reason. I put this one back in order too, because I was also going to do a flip through and talk about it. So yeah, the Villains Tarot definitely fills the spot of a younger version of myself. And one thing that's great about these pips is that they stepped it up a lot. They actually illustrated it, and look, that doesn't even look like a pip. That looks like a full illustrated minor, right? So does that one. So does that one, most definitely. It doesn't even look like a pip. It looks like a full illustrated minor, and I love it. So yeah, so that is the Villains Tarot. All right, so the next prompt is the Italian Soda, a deck that's fun, low-key, and not overly serious. For that, I'm choosing my beloved Halloween Tarot. Now, this deck I also speak about in the 21 questions, and this deck really shocked and surprised me in an amazing way. Didn't expect to hear the beautiful backs. I love these backs. Again, it's orange. It's coming off very faded on my screen. I don't know why, but it's as orange as my shirt is, or my sweater. This deck is cartoony, but by no means should be taken any less serious than any other non-cartoony deck, in my opinion. This deck is amazing. I absolutely love reading with it. It's definitely one of my most favorite decks. So much so that I bought this one in a tin so that I could throw it in my bag and not worry about the box getting ruined or damaged, because I'm quite particular about my things. Is that glare just killing you guys? I'm quite particular about my things, and I like them to last and look pristine for as long as I can. So I would never just throw a tarot box in my bag, and I love that about the tin. So yeah, I loved it so much, I have 2 copies. That to me feels excessive to say, but yep, I did it. Just love it. These cards are so busy, so full of stuff going on. See, like here with the bats, it's not just the scene with the boat. They gave us a background. They gave us bats flying around with some stars in the sky. See, I love all the stars in all the night sky. You're going to see stars. Even this one here with our 9 of bats. We have a small little window here, but you can see stars. I just love all the detail. It makes me so happy. Look at everything that's going on in this sun card. It just, I love it. I love that representation too there. You can definitely see that they feel so safe. And like here with the moon card, I think it's so funny because we have the werewolf that would be like howling at the moon, right? And in typical moon cards, we see a wolf and a dog. So we already have the wolf. I love that they actually put a dog in there. That's funny to me. And they have this little sign with our lobster that's usually coming out of the water, right? And he's up there. So see, there's so much going on, so much symbolism, and I love it. I mean, the curtains, it blows me away. Look at him down there. He looks so cute. Look at the face on the cat. The cat cracks me up in all of them. They didn't just put like the same cat image in every deck. They actually gave him personalities. He's being nosy and he's stepping up there wanting to see what's going on. Here he looks angry at him for taking the candy. It's just, look at him here. Look. He's all like fluffy cat because it's wet and raining. And so anyways, I love so much about this deck. It's absolutely perfect. Definitely one of my top 5. Definitely. So that would be the Italian soda. All right, so I guess I can go ahead and talk about the other one while I pick this one up, because it's the herbal tea. It says a deck that takes things down a notch or helps you unwind. And honestly, I didn't want to do any repeat decks, but there is going to be for this prompt. This deck could totally fill that prompt. It takes things down a notch and it helps me unwind because, again, it's not very serious looking. The messages it gives you are most definitely serious and it doesn't beat around the bush, and I love that. But appearance wise, it's calming to me. It's fun. I love it. It's good mood. I like that. So this one could fill that prompt, or the one that I actually chose for it would be my cat people deck. Because this one, because it is such I'm at home and such a comfort deck to me, I feel like this helps me unwind. I mean, any of my decks really, because I love them, but I'm not going to sit down and try to unwind with the Black Tarot, right? It's kind of like when you want good lighting for a certain mood and you want to set the scene, right? I'm not going to set the scene of trying to unwind with the Black Tarot. It's not going to happen. So I would say that the Halloween Tarot and my cat people would be a deck that takes things down a notch and helps me unwind. And that was the last prompt. You guys, I love doing these prompts, even though it makes me overthink and I torture myself a bit. And I probably torture you guys with my over explaining and my rambling, repeating ways. My daughter is playing with my cat now. They're cheerleaders. So anyways, yeah, this is so fun. Thank you. Let me know your thoughts on any of these decks. How do you feel? Do you have them? Do you want them? Let's talk about it. All right. Until next time, guys, nothing but love. Bye.